Oh, baby! Ladies and gentlemen, gungans and droids, I'm feeling good. Hopefully you guys are too. Oh boy, we got some stuff to talk about today. There's a new Grand Arena going on, attack phase coming up shortly. Some of you guys are probably going to be approaching Jabba the Hutt for the first time in 5v5 Grand Arena. I got good news, I got bad news. Let's start off with good news. Leave a like if on good news, like if on bad news. I'm making the preemptive decision. We're talking about good news first. Good news first. I've been liking Jabba the Hutt a lot. I think he might potentially give me more time. He might be the best #1 Galactic Legend Star Wars Galaxy. I never thought that would say that. For sure, top 3 right now. Give me more time. The bad news is, how to put this nicely, there's not a lot of ways to counter in 5v5 without a Galactic Legend and without a Datacron attached on. I know that's scary. It's spooky season right now. What can I say? But it's not as scary as this. If you want to survive this Raid Shadow Legends ad, you have to go with the top scariest characters in a raid. And no, it's not gonna be you, okay? Can you please get out of here? Madame Cerise. Let me tell you, her polygons are simply beyond this mortal world. And to pair along with Madame Cerise, we got the Harvest Jack. And then you could use Dreams to Ash to prevent further buffs on those enemies. And representing the Skinwalkers, we have Barakas the Shifter. And this guy will claw for survival until the very end. Everyone can get the Ultimate Death Knight for free just by logging in to Raid for 7 days between now and October 27th. Type in DK Rises to instantly level up Ultimate Death Knight all the way to level 50, 5-star Ascension. So click on my link or scan my QR code and you'll get rewards worth over $30. All this treasure will be waiting for you right up here. These rewards are only available for the next 30 days. So let's talk about how are you going to handle Jabba the Hutt. We're going to talk about non-Datacron, non-Galactic Legend, Galactic Legends, and Datacron situations. Right now, I've tested myself. A lot of teams up against Jabba the Hutt. I've confided in some top players that I heavily respect. At least as of now, the current state of Galaxy Heroes in the first few weeks of testing against Jabba in a 5v5 situation. And keep in mind, this isn't even Chrysanthemum Omicron turned on here, so it could be even better. It doesn't seem like there is going to be a non-Galactic Legend, non-Datacron way of handling Jabba. And the last time I felt that was Jedi Master Kenobi. There's still to this day, there's not an off-meta, non-Galactic Legend, non-Datacron counter to Jedi Master Kenobi. Jabba the Hutt is now officially the second Galactic Legend. Dude, every other Galactic Legend, day one, we find tons of off-meta counters, Lord Vader being one of them, Sith Eternal, Jedi Master Luke, the list goes on and on and on. I guess the good news is if you're someone that's refusing Datacrons and you don't have a lot of Galactic Legends, the good news is I'm showing a few ways where I've at least broken apart Jabba the Hutt and got it down to the last 2. One thing that really is evident is that it might be easy to get something rolling to get out at least 3 members. If you can get out Bausch Leia, if you can get out Lando and then get out Embo or Boba Fett, whatever that 3rd member might be, you at least are going to be in a clean up-ish territory because Jabba can't do as much in the following cleanup because he doesn't have any more friends helping him out, especially Bausch Leia. The problem is, though, once you get down to those last 2 members, Chrysanthemum and Jabba, you notice the momentum stop slowing down. The teams that seem to semi-work are teams that get lots of turn meter pushes, but at the same time have ways to control the enemy team through a shock or a daze. So we showed, for example, Palpatine, Mara Jade getting as much shock out there to stop the turn meter, because when you gain turn meter, Jabba gains turn meter for the team. So it makes it hard to run loops. That's why you need someone with the daze, which, for example, we have Echo and Bad Batch being able to get a buff the spell, drop down the daze, slowing them down so they can't get Terminator. Palpatine has the shock capabilities. Or you have ways like General Grievous where you're able to at least get so much turn meter. Even Jabba's bonus will have a hard time keeping up, and Grievous has turn meter removal, so that kind of balances things out. But again, once you start losing members, because remember, Bad Batch, they need lots of buffs to get their train rolling. Palpatine needs lots of shocks to keep their train rolling. Grievous needs a lot of target lock to keep their train rolling. Once you start dwindling down Jabba's team, you start having less enemies to try to get a nice big loop going. So it seems like as of now, if you're going to use non-Galactic Legend, non-Datacron stuff, I would expect, if you're trying some of the varieties of stuff that I'm showing here today, you're going to probably piecemeal it. And then maybe you could throw in Imperial Troopers afterwards to clean that up. Trey was also decent as well. I think I kind of got lucky annihilating Chrysanthemum of Nihilus. He barely made it out, but thanks to all the buffs out of turn, attacks out of turn, you're able to at least get Chrysanthemum and Bausch Leia out, and I think afterwards it's going to be a decent cleanup. Now, you might be asking, what about the Imperial Troopers? Well, kind of unfortunate. Main problem is, again, when you get turn meter, Jabba gets turn meter, and even when you try to, for example, open up with the daze from Piet instead of doing the mark and getting the offense up, you might not get daze on everyone. And then the rest of the folks are going to get turn meter, and not a very pleasant situation to be in. But I think if you can at least throw in your Grievous, throw in your Traya, your Palpatine, Mara Jade, and at least try to piecemeal it, take out a few folks, leave it down to Chrysanthemum and Jabba, that might put you in at least a good situation to try to work. Because especially another big problem with Jabba, a couple of problems. One, you can't even target Jabba. Because when you start the battle, everyone's gonna get my kind of scum for each other, bounty hunter, Hutt, cartel, smuggler, ally. And when there's my kind of scum, which is pretty much the whole entire battle, you can't target Jabba. So you're forced to go after Winnows. That's problem number one. Think of it kind of like a Mon Moth situation. You're not gonna target her. So you gotta wait till the very end for Jabba. So that's kind of a big problem. The other problem is we call this miles away. Bausch Leia is a critical component, the most important component, I would say, to the Hutt cartel, Jabba the Hutt team, because when you start off the battle, her unique ability is applying Deadly Bluff. And when you have Deadly Bluff, you can't attack on a turn. And that's a big problem for Imperial Troopers. So that's kind of another reason why Imperial Troopers have a hard time, because yeah, they're getting turn meter, but they can't get the Emperor's Trap roll and get all the assists going to keep that turn meter flowing. But I think if you can get a Bausch Leia and then bring in, I think Imperial Troopers could be a decent cleanup at that point. So as of now, that's one thing working in Jabba the Hutt's favor, is that I haven't felt this difficulty beating a Galactic Legend since the initial introduction of Jedi Master Kenobi. Let me caveat that. Jedi Master Kenobi with Commander Tano. Keep in mind, we do not even have a Conquest Lifter unit for Jabba the Hutt. Whoa. Maybe it makes sense why we haven't had a Conquest character yet, but hey, we're going to probably find out what the next Conquest unit is. Maybe it's going to be Bib Fortuna down the road. Hard to say as of now, but so where it stands, I think Starkiller might have a slight chance of maybe helping out. Remember, this is Squad Arena, no Omicron turn, not Starkiller's not assisting. So kind of a little difficult, but remember, you can't attack on a turn when you have the Deadly Bluff in you. So I think Starkiller might be your closest bet to a non-Galactic Legend, non-Datacron situation, but we're not going to know until Grand Arena comes. So once Grand Arena comes, I'll have a better idea. But going into Grand Arena, it seems like there's a consensus. There's not a lot of non-GL, non-Datacron ways to handle Jabba. As things stand now, assuming you've got the best Jabba the Hutt defensive team set. Remember, there's no Datacron on either side. This could be even trickier. Once you got Datacrons on Jabba, especially at Skipguard Lando, it's going to be a whole different story. But we're kind of starting at the base level because Datacrons can vary season per season. Let's move on to the next category, and that's going to be Galactic Legends. This is another reason why I think Jabba the Hutt is close to being #1 Galactic Legend. Jedi Master Kenobi beforehand, the best Galactic Legend, hands down. I think this is the closest we are going to get to CG admitting they messed up with the balancing between Kenobi and Lord Vader. They never explicitly really said much about it, except, oh, we're here. This is the closest we're getting to CG kind of showing us indirectly, I think, that they definitely messed with the balance here, because Kenobi on defense, when Kenobi's on defense, Jabba Hutt steamrolls him, max banners. On offense, I probably would not recommend it. You might have a chance of winning. I showed my first attempt. If Jabba's insta-killing all your guys, it's not looking good. I did have one good battle where Jabba was kind of an idiot, and he kept using his Rancor insta-kill on Kenobi, which doesn't insta-kill him, right? That battle I was able to pull out. So there might be a situation where the AI is playing really dumb on Jabba's team, and you might eke out. My biggest tip, if you are daring, you don't have a lot of options, if you are going to do Master Kenobi versus Jabba, I highly recommend you get Kenobi to hit the high ground when he's at 50% charge. And don't use Commander Tano's insta-kill immediately on Chrysanthemum, because Jabba just revives him. So once you get the 50% ultimate charge, that way you can ignore Chrysanthemum, insta-kill Bausch Leia, and you're putting yourself at least in a better situation there. Otherwise, I'd probably sort of avoid it. Next thing, the Supreme Leader Kylo right now. I'm throwing just standard teams up against Jabba. Supreme Leader Kylo, even in the semi-standard First Order team, I took out Sith because he can't assist when he's got Deadly Bluff on him. I just got First Order Officer to pass over some turns. SOKR, I feel like if someone's going to be throwing Galactic Legends, this is probably going to be the best budget Galactic Legend to throw. you can definitely find other ways to make it better. So Night Sister, Zombie, Daka perhaps, maybe some Wat Tambor armor, just so you're not leaving it just the Kylo to carry the whole entire battle. But this is, I think, going to be the best way to handle it. There is a better counter. Lord Vader is definitively the best counter to him, which is funny because Jabba hard counters Kenobi, but Lord Vader hard counters Jabba. So I think that's a big indication of CG saying, yeah, we kind of screwed up with the balancing of this particular Galactic Legend. But I don't think you're going to want to use Lord Vader, at least as of now, the next few months, up against Jabba the Hutt, primarily because right now Lord Vader's nuts with his Datacron, and you probably want to use it more on defense. So that's one reason why, I mean, if you want to use it, go for it. I think Lord Vader's going to be a cakewalk. But right now, for the next 2 months until December 26th, once their Datacron expires, you probably want to use Lord Vader on defense. You gotta get, because afterwards Lord Vader's gonna kind of go back to a very lackluster Galactic Legend on defense here. Master Luke, if you're asking, the gameplay we have is gameplay we found from some awesome members of our community on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes on YouTube. This is with Datacron on Luke. The Datacron's expired on Luke. I would not recommend using Jedi Master Luke up against Jabba. Not very pretty. You can't stun him, and you can't really attack on a turn, so I would probably avoid it if you're jonesing for a way to beat him, and that's all your only Galactic Legend. Kind of, I'm gonna say just kind of good luck as of now, unless you get some sort of Datacron that really helps out the situation. Now you might be asking about, what about Rey? Well, Rey, actually, let's back up. Sith Eternal, I wouldn't recommend it. It just kind of, most of the time, just turns out into a staring contest between Jabba and Sith Eternal, and it just times out. So I probably wouldn't recommend using Sith Eternal unless you have a way of getting healing immunity on the Jabba the Hutt team. Rey, if you're gonna do it, you're probably gonna want to use the Dash Rendar Omicron. So that's kind of transitioning us into Datacron situations involving counters to Jabba the Hutt. Dash Rendar is kind of countering a lot of stuff right now with that Datacron. Beats Jabba the Hutt, always getting those bonus turns. You're gonna need the bonus turn Datacron on Dash Rendar to get out there, keep smashing AoEs. If you have Commander Tano, makes it even more nutty. But if you're using Rey, I highly recommend using Rey with Dash Datacron. That's how you're gonna get Rey to beat him. But you don't need Rey to beat Jabba. As I just showed, another opportunity is obviously the Tarkin Cheese, where you throw on Imperial cooldowns and then let him go to town. And funny enough, I find Magma Trooper incredibly helpful against Jabba, especially for this Datacron Cheese, because they're going to try to apply debuffs on you at the very beginning, right? Those thermal detonators, and either they're going to get resisted, or or they're not going to be resisted on Magma Trooper. They're going to get a ton of turn meter, open up quickly, AoE, pull back turn meter, allowing your team to get going. So don't sleep on Magma Trooper. I think Magma Trooper is going to be helpful, but keep in mind, you need at least Relic 5 to enjoy the Empire cooldown Datacron, unfortunately. Funny enough, I haven't been getting a lot of Grand Inquisitor viability inside of Grand Arena without Datacrons, of course, but this is going to be, I think, a decent use of Grand Inquisitor up against Jabba. You have to fight the clock. This one, I mean, I'm sure the Empire cooldowns might be helpful, but in my, from my perspective, from testing, getting the Datacron that allows Grand Inquisitor, just Empire units in general, to allow them to get 2% turn meter anytime a debuff expires, or doubled if it was dispelled, allows you to outrun them. And plus you have the daze from Night Sister. So again, what do we say? If you're going to want to run turn meter, you need a daze of some sort to lock on the Jabba, and then you go ahead and you get the Grand Inquisitor and the rest of the guys to run circles around it. Bonus points if you could somehow get the accuracy up on the level 3 and the evasion down on that level 3 Datacron as well. And then of course you got good old Darth Vader. You got to be careful. I timed myself out. What you need to do, because again, it's hard to target Jabba when you have other Hutt cartel members on a team. And as you see here, if I would have thrown the Calling Blade, we would have been able to kill off Jabba. Was a little too slow to hop on it. So what you got to do is you got to make sure you kill off Chrysanthemum. He's probably going to revive, but he's not going to have my kind of scum. And you got to make sure you have a Calling Blade timed right. So when there's no Chrysanthemum taunting, there's no my kind of scum, you can call away Jabba when he has like 200 some damage over times on him. So unfortunately, this is Jabba, in my opinion right now, he's easily top 3. If I had to give up an opinion because someone's got me at gunpoint, probably number 2 Galactic Legend. Give me more time. I think he might be number 1. And again, my ranking is barring Datacrons. Yes, Lord Vader's amazing right now, but he was trash before without the Datacrons. Jabba without Datacrons, any of that stuff, I feel like is one of the best defensive Galactic Legends. Only thing is, it's kind of embarrassing. You can't really beat Sith Eternal on offense. You know, it's mostly a staring contest. But I think this Galactic Legend kind of marks the era where you got to embrace Datacrons if you want to have non-Galactic Legends ways of beating him. So you guys know how I feel about Data Crowns. I know how a grand majority of you guys feel about it, but hopefully this is going to be a good starting point to help you guys navigate your way through this new 5v5 season, our first time fighting Jabba in 5v5 Grand Arena. And just an extra caveat, this is without Data Crowns on Jabba, which is inevitably going to happen out there. And we don't have the Chrysanthemum Omicron turned on for this testing, so it might be a little bit more difficult than what I showed here today. So thank you so much for stopping by. Leave a like, comment down below. I'm curious, what are your preliminary thoughts on Jabba? I'm not selling myself to a number 1 or 2 Jabba, but I'm kind of feeling it. I usually wait a couple months to have a full opinion on it, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And although it's great to be in the Hutt cartel, it's great to be in the Empire.